Body shot, oh, that hurt, didn't it?
When adrenaline starts pumping and you know what you can do with this right hand, it's hard to not do that.
Here are your hosts, Derick G and AJ.
What's going on, folks? Welcome back to another episode of the Bloody Water Podcast. Now, we had promised you, we were in a little bit of a transition for a week or two, but we made it back. We in the home, we in the hub, we back in great Las Vegas over here for me. But joining me, as always, is my co-host, the New Mexico native, the Santa Fe bomber, who is hailing out of Austin, Texas, AJ, big dog. Brother, it must feel good, right, to be back into the home setting, right? A little bit of transition never hurts nobody, but there's nothing more comfortable than the home. How you feeling, bro?
Brother, I'm doing well, man. Yeah, no, you said it best. A little shake up, a little transition's always good to kind of get the creative juices flowing. But there's something nice about sitting here, sitting in the homestead, having Bears behind me, and the classic, all the posters behind you looking good, man. Yeah. It's good to be back. It felt like it was only a 2-week break. We're saying this off camera. It felt like a lot longer though, man. Felt like it was a couple months. I've been itching for some fights. We got a good card ahead of us for it, Derick.
Exactly, right? Because, believe it or not, right, we're coming off of a week with, yes, there were fights, but no UFC fights, right? It was a much needed break, I think, especially because of the transition stuff going on. But either way, what a way to come back, but then with a banging strawweight main event. Like, this is two fighters right here who are, yes, outside of the title picture, but if we're being completely frank about it, these are two of the best, arguably, fighters in the entire division based off of skill set alone. You got Mackenzie Dern, fantastic jiu-jitsu. More than fantastic. You got like Do Bronx, Charles Oliveira, then you got Mackenzie Dern. But then if you're talking about one of the crispiest strikers in the division, you have to mention Yan Xiaonan. Now, AJ, I want to ask you off the bat, before we jump into all of this stuff, we'll do a little housekeeping. But Yan Xiaonan, right? One of the most underrated strawweights right now, I think personally, because people can't pronounce her last name. I honestly think that's what it is, bro. Do you have any opinion on that, or do you agree or disagree, or what's up?
I agree with you, especially because the majority of casual fan is what's the best way to say, man? Not redneck, not of that court, not of that I don't know. I'm stumbling on a word to say, but a lot of people do think human cockfighting does relate to the fighting sport. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if Xiaonan is too hard of a name to draw some fans, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, I absolutely dig it, man. Let's just say, I just wanted to state in front. Listen, put some respect on Yan Xiaonan's name, okay? Enough said. All right. Now, folks, it's been 2 weeks, right? And we haven't been able to give you the show that we've wanted to. So I just want to say, hey, apologies. We're back. We're going to make it better than ever. And remember, if you rate us 5 stars on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever, we're going to shout you out here. We're going to shout you out. You just got to make sure you contact us. So hit me up at D496 on Instagram, or my man AJ at Santa Fe Bomber across the board. You can catch my man everywhere with Santa Fe Bomber, okay? Just wanted to drop that. But with that being said, my man, I feel like we shouldn't even mince any more words. Let's get into the TLDR. Let's jump straight to it, big dog. All right, here we go. Folks, UFC Vegas 61 is upon us, right? We've already been mentioning that. And if you're looking at some picks, you're going to notice we have a lot of similar picks here, right? Literally 5 of our 6 picks are the same. However, do not fret, because generally speaking, AJ, last time that I checked, that just means that, listen, we're on board. You know what I mean? We're feeling good about what we're doing. Now, okay, so generally, AJ, what that means to me, right, is that we're in consensus. We're not taking the biggest risks right here because we feel pretty good about the picks that we have ahead of us. Now, we have one contrasting pick, and those are about 2 fighters who are relatively new to the promotion, haven't fought a bunch in the UFC. But let's just talk about why we are in consensus with these picks right here, AJ. So, Mackenzie Dern over Yan Xiaonan. 1-sentence version. Why did she get the dub?
Man, top tier jiu-jitsu, excuse me. That's really the biggest one, man. Mackenzie Dern, you already know Derick as the local jiu-jitsu house, man. This one is it's hard for Yan Xiaonan to be able to go in any kind of realm where she's uncomfortable when Mackenzie Dern is so vicious down there, brother.
Yeah. And I'm going to basically echo the same thing, because if you look at Yan Xiaonan, you look at her last loss, it was to Marina Rodriguez, who was able to mix it up a little bit with her, primarily a striker, but also can do some stuff on the ground. You're looking at the loss before that, Carla Esparza. The Cookie Monster smothers her. So if Carla Esparza is simply a wrestler, is just going to smother her, Mackenzie Dern could walk forward with reckless abandon and do whatever she wants in terms of jiu-jitsu. Now we're just going to see how tested Yan Xiaonan's jiu-jitsu, our takedown defense and jiu-jitsu is, really. But simply put, man, that's the reason why. You have to be confident in Mackenzie Dern here. Now, Randy Brown, Francisco Trinaldo. AJ, generally speaking, man, when you have Francisco Trinaldo in the same breath as Randy Brown, people are probably wondering, why is this matchup being made? Trinaldo is a scrappy veteran, man. This is a dude you should not count out. However, Randy Brown is a cheat code? You know what I mean? This dude is like, his length is like a middleweight's length or whatever. Like he's just got incredible length. His frame is fantastic for the division. Why do you think this matchup is being made?
Man, when this one came across the news boards, man, I was also a little ponderous as why, because really it's two fighters at completely different stages of their life. This could mean that we're seeing kind of the short-term lifespan of Francisco Trinaldo coming, unless he gets a big win on Randy Brown, man. Randy Brown is, like you said, a cheat code, 2 weight classes above in the length, but this dude is fast and slick. Interesting to see that throwing Francisco Trinaldo to a young buck like this, but maybe that could have a little bit in it, man. What do you think?
Well, I think you made a great point. Maybe they're saying, hey, yeah, Trinaldo, listen, at this point of the game, you better put it together. If you're not able to handle some of these young guns, and he's already fighting a bunch of young guns, but if you can't handle them, you get the boot, man. Everybody got an expiration date, right? So I think that's a fair point right there, my man. I do agree. All right. One of our favorites here, AJ, Raoni Barcelos, he's making his way out against Trevin Jones, who maybe isn't one of our favorites, but you have to admit he has impressed us multiple times over, right? Especially with that win over Timur Valiev that got overturned, right? We know that's of a big class. So if Trevin Jones beat Timur Valiev and Timur Valiev beat Raoni Barcelos, what does that mean here, AJ? What does that mean to you?
Man, I mean, MMA math is one of the most tricky ones to get it going. But if I'm ever sitting there looking at the bracket and I'm lined up against somebody who has beaten somebody else and I beat that guy, I'm feeling pretty excited about my chances going into this fight. But Raoni Barcelos is a hell of a dog, so Trevin Jones has a big hill to climb ahead of him.
Absolutely, and I would absolutely agree with you right there, my man. And it's interesting because it was a majority decision loss for Raoni Barcelos, so I would not count my man out. I would say arguably this is one of the biggest dark horses in the division. I don't care, even if he's coming off of back-to-back losses. Major dark horse right there. You seemed a little skeptical right there, are you?
Yeah, no, I mean, Raoni Barcelos, I'd agree in the fact that he gets overlooked a lot, and that's really what makes him a big dark horse. Will he get to the top of the top? Well, time will tell, but he does get overlooked quite often.
Absolutely, and that's just the point that we're making here. Okay, last couple ones, right? Sodiq Yusuff versus Don Shainis. Now, AJ, brother, talk about, a tough UFC debut on short notice. Shainis has said, he's like, I'm going to make it ugly. But that's about all that he has said. I think Sodiq Yusuff isn't going to be complete control. Dude, he was supposed to fight Giga Chikadze. Like, come on. It's a fight. Anybody got a puncher's chance. But come on. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, respect to Sodiq Yusuff for still taking the fight, and same thing for Don Shainis also taking the fight, because you're basically signing up to catch an ass whooping. But that's the way it goes sometimes, man. That's how you get your licks in this kind of sport. But at that same point, don't sleep on Don Shainis. You never know. You never know going in there.
You have nothing to lose, and if you win, you're immediately in top 5 contention. I mean, talk about a featherweight jump right there. All right, my man. And then John Castaneda. Man, this is one of my favorites right here. John Castaneda is going to be taking on Daniel Santos here, AJ, right? And I'm a big fan of John Castaneda. I think he's honestly another one of those big, major, underrated fighters who nobody pays attention to. But if you look at his last victory against Miles Johns, man, that arm triangle victory after he hurt him multiple times, after he was able to corral him in the corners of the cage the entire fight, I just say Castaneda is a bad man, and y'all better watch out. Daniel Santos is good, not proven in the UFC yet, but I like Castaneda here for sure. Is that the same reason why you like him?
Man, Castaneda is probably the sleeper on this main card that nobody knows about, nobody's talking about yet, but give him 6 months to a year, and I'm telling you, everybody's going to be talking about this kid Castaneda coming up through the ranks, man.
And what's funny is they should already be talking about him, but, that's neither here nor there. All right, AJ, this is the point of contention here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm going to be honest with the people watching at home, right? The reason why we sometimes have to have a contrasting pick when everything else is more or less the same is because there's a competition at hand, right? I want to win a competition. If I can be up a pick, I want to do that. And we have a very interesting bout here, dude. And this is going to be Slava Claus, man. Viacheslav Borshchev versus Mike Davis. And I'll tell you what, Mike Davis is a bad man. He's had a bunch of injury problems, man. You know what I mean? Back and forth. It's kept him out for longer than he should have. Let his steam kind of sizzle off a little bit. And Borshchev just got steamrolled in his last fight, man, where he just got basically wrestle-fucked by Mark Chikasi, right? Where he turned into like a D1 wrestler out of nowhere. The question here, my man, really ultimately, like, I like Slava Claus because I think he can make it scrappy, he can make it ugly, and he's more versatile. However, I can also see why Mike Davis could handily win this fight, given that, dude, he's a fantastic striker. He has good takedowns, good wrestling. I mean, this is kind of an even matchup, but Mike Davis is also huge for the division. So I see both sides. I'm rocking with Slava Claus just because somebody got to have a different pick. Why are you rocking with Mike Davis?
No, I agree with you. And actually, man, Slava Claus has a puncher's chance in this fight, and actually a little bit more than a puncher's chance. He has the momentum also going for him in this one, man. I like Mike Davis a lot because I feel like he's the more well-rounded, more versatile, more solid fighter who has not necessarily, like I said, not the momentum, but I feel like he has time on his side where he's been invested a little bit more. Slava Claus is really the flash in the pan, if you will, that still needs to prove if he's a main dish. But Mike Davis has been there for quite a while, so this is really a really fun fight to watch, and no wonder it's opening up the main card as well there. It's going to be a blast.
You know what we always say, bro. If it opens it up, there's a reason for it, my man. And this is going to be a fun one to open it up. So, folks, once again, take a look. This is your Dern versus Xiaonan UFC Vegas 61 main card slate. Take the picks, run to this local sports book, and cash them in. And when you make your money, hit us up and just let us know. Be like, hey, dude, I cashed in on these picks. Let me know. Maybe my picks are the difference. Maybe AJ's are the difference. Either way, this is all courtesy of the Bloody Water Podcast. So show love, represent. It's your favorite fighter's favorite fight show, after all. You already dig what time it is. Now, AJ, this is the people's, right? This is the people's favorite segment because we're for the people here. Let's get into some sleepers, big dog. Let's go.
It's time for some fight night.
And if you ain't paying attention, you're gonna sleep on me and I'm gonna wake you up.
All right, my man. So listen, I would grab some water too, just because you know this is gonna be a fire segment right here, and you gotta get ready. Now, my sleeper, AJ, I'm going to go first on this one. Rare occasion, simply because we did a little bit of a flip. I picked the first bout on the night. Normally, that's your job right there. Now, you came up with a really banger of a sleeper too, man, but let's just get this one out the way because mine is going to be a quick 45-second just listen, fire. All right, here we go, folks. So the bout that I'm going to be talking about right here is a bout between Randy Costa, and if you know anything about the man, you know that's fireworks, that's explosion, that's power, that's knockouts. He's going to be fighting an old dog, an old veteran, and Guido Canetti. And I don't know if you know anything about this dude, but he might not win a lot. He's going to make it exciting. He's going to be kicking you. He's going to be sitting there and looking for a striking affair. Now, Randy Costa, in his last fight, he got knocked out by Tony Kelly. Did we expect it? No. I didn't expect it at all, right? But it goes to show just how game anybody in this division is. I mean, this is such a stacked bantamweight division. I'm actually going to share with you guys right now basically what we're looking at right here. So look at Randy Costa, right? This dude is 2-3 in his last 5. Then you got another dude who's 2-3, Guido Canetti. So it makes sense why they get matched up. But I would like to argue here that this is a fight where both of these dudes are going to be taking it a little more serious, right? Randy Costa, in my opinion, even though this is a bona fide fireworks matchup, I think he's going to be a little more precise, a little more technical in this bout, but still do what brought him to the dance. And what brought him to the dance is sit in front of you, swing, and bang. Now, Guido Canetti, he's coming off of a big win against Chris Moutinho in his last fight. But, AJ, I need your input on this one. Given the nature of a Chris Moutinho, and his claim to fame was getting punched on by Sugar Show Sean O'Malley for 3 rounds until he got stopped, that's not the biggest win, right? I think we can argue that. However, if you can take into consideration that Guido Canetti is 42 years old, you got everything on the line here. You're coming off of a win. You probably want to string together one more and then call it a quit. Randy Costa is a young gun, man. He's 28 years old. So you tell me, my man, aside from just the bona fide firework nature of this matchup, 2 strikers going toe-to-toe, who has more to lose in this stake?
Man, it's a hard one because this one really is a storyline fight. Nonetheless, like you said, fireworks for sure. But you get Randy Costa, the young gun with all the heat behind him, and he loses one to Guido Canetti, a hardcore favorite. You know, people know if you're a hardcore fan, you know the Canetti name. But if you're a casual and you've been somebody who's been watching this for the last 6 months or so, you know Randy Costa. You don't really know Guido Canetti. Yep. But then Guido, you lose the fight to the young gun. You know you're on the chopping block, man. That's a lot to lose. If it's me, I think Randy Costa has a little bit more on the line, just because I feel like the stakes are a little bit higher. Guido goes out on a note like this. Even if he wins, that chopping block might still be there, but you never know. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that Randy Costa personally has more to lose. You can't lose against Guido Canetti. You can't. 42-year-old dude, kind of on his way out. You cannot lose. But I just want to share this because this is how confident the Tapology fans are right here. Randy Costa, 89% of people think he's going to win. And look at that massive streak in terms of knockout. 82% of that 89 by knockout. Guido Canetti, 57 think it's by knockout right there. So literally, I wanted to ask you this at this point. What are the chances, AJ, because I think they're slim to none, what are the chances this actually rolls through to a decision?
Ooh, slim to none, man. Out of 10, I'm giving this one. If a 10 is it goes to decision, I'm giving this one a 4. I think we're going to see somebody sleeping.
first fight of the night for a reason, right? So that's your sleeper, bona fide. Tune in and watch that thing, folks. Now, AJ, brother, you got a really good one in your hand. So talk to the people. Who's your sleeper?
Woo, this one is going to be a lot of fun, man. This is Joaquim Silva versus Jesse Ronson, man. Now, a lot of people, you might know Joaquim Silva. He's a little bit more, versed in this last couple of months. But Jesse Ronson is also an absolute savage, man. They named him the body snatcher for a reason. If you see Derek's highlighting right now. You can see on Joaquim Silva's side, he has 2 losses in his last 5. A win after that, a loss, a win, kind of an up and down. It's the same thing for Ronson over there on the right, man. A loss, and that draw or the unhighlighted one is because he popped from Metabolite. So taken away, it's still a loss either way. He's an up and down fighter, but this one, man, why I picked this fight nonetheless is this going to be like a exciting banger of a match, people swinging, toe-to-toe fight. This one is also a storyline fight where if these dudes lose, one of these dudes is possibly going to get cut. Neither of them have a lot of star power in their name, and they have a lot of extra drama that's coming really behind. So this one is really going to be an interesting fight to see who keeps their job. And I like this one for the storyline, man. If something's on the line, somebody's coming to take what's yours, coming to eat your food, coming to your house, kick their feet up on your couch, what are you going to do? This is the fight that we're going to see these two dudes fighting for what's theirs. And you can see right here, man, a lot of people know Joaquim Silva's name, and don't let it fool you. That name value is there. But what I like most about this one, look at both of the red mark right there. They're a little closer to similar. I'm going to be seeing a knockout, not as much as Derek's fight, or at least what the Tapology is predicting over there. But we're still going to see a very interesting fight coming for this one, man. I'm excited for this one. There's a lot of sleepers on this prelim card, man. You got to check it out. There's a whole bunch of them which I had to choose from, but this one's going to be a lot of fun, like I said, to see, man. What do you think, Derek?
No, I mean, we're going to touch on a couple of the prelim fights, after we get through the main stuff, man. I think that you're right. This is going to be a bona fide banger as well. It's going to be a little bit of a different catalyst to the banger, right? But at the end of the day, this is a must-watch fight. And AJ, I'm going to say this is one of the one rare times where a brown gets turned into a red, my man. I mean, that is brown as day, my man. It's as brown as it gets. But either way, it's all good. It's all good. That's the little quirkiness that we love. Now, folks, that's the sleepers. Now, this is the time that you've been waiting for. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Excuse me. I'm just going to ask you to do one thing for me. And AJ, I'm sure you would relate, right? Drop a like, subscribe, share the show with your friends, and make sure that we can get up to that 430, 440, 450 number in terms of the subscriber count. It's been a little slow for growth recently, but it's also because we've been on the road. We've been traveling. We've been doing stuff. We're back in full gear, baby. Let's go. All right, AJ, let's jump into the main card breakdown. Let's go.
Here's to another main card breakdown, courtesy of your hosts, Derick G and AJ.
All right, my man. Safe to say we got a really, really interesting bout here in the women's strawweight division, but we need to look at a couple things before we jump into anything, and we need to look at odds, right? Minus 230 off the bat for Mackenzie Dern. People are really feeling the money line right here. But let's look at something that's even more preposterous, and even though I do think it's likely to happen, minus 120 for a submission prop, bro. Like, you get no love, no money, no value on betting her winning by submission because the odds makers, the people, everybody, they just kind of assume that's what's going to happen. Now, if you look at Yan Xiaonan in her career, bro, it's not like she's getting tapped out and knocked out and finished in all these different type of scenarios, man. She's 15-3 in her career. It's a little ludicrous to sit here and say, yeah, she'll just get subbed because, let's be honest, she's never been submitted in her career. So the question becomes here. Mackenzie Dern, while I do not think she's nearly as sharp as Yan Xiaonan, she stepped up her boxing a little bit, right? If she can just close the distance with crazy strikes, which we see a lot of really fantastic jiu-jitsu practitioners do, what are the odds she can get her actually to the ground, man? Yan Xiaonan has fantastic footwork. I think it's going to have to be like a real exert yourself, burn up a lot of cardio to be able to get her to the ground or get into the clinch and move it there. But I don't think it's going to be as simple as I'm just going to shoot a single and then get you down and tap you. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be just as simple as, I'm going to get close, I'm going to shoot for something, grab you, and then eventually work it to the ground. I think the footwork of Yan Xiaonan, you touched on it, is so good. Yeah. That's going to be like a fourth, a fifth, a sixth kind of shot, something where Mackenzie Dern's going to have to continuously work on it. And honestly, I'm questioning how much at the beginning of the fight Dern's going to really want to invest in getting this takedown right away. Do you burn the gas tank right away? Do you, burn your bridges, get the takedown, beat her up, and really try to go for it? Or end up gassed, end up sitting there wondering, what in the hell happened? You're still 3 minutes into the first round, gasping for air, and then Yan Xiaonan is starting to pick you apart, starting to work her game mode now. It's a very interesting one because I do think Mackenzie Dern can end this fight early. But the thing that interests me most, man, people are saying, or if you look at the odds, 350, 325 for a decision. That's not too far out of the realm of possibilities. In my opinion, I definitely think Yan Xiaonan leans a little bit heavier towards a decision win. Who do you think gets it if it goes to the distance?
I mean, if it goes the distance, I can see Mackenzie Dern winning it based off of control time, based off of, having her in these. Okay, let's look for an example, right? And I hate to bring up this again, man. Tyler Santos, Valentina Shevchenko. Did the judges give it to her that night? No. But did she win rounds simply by holding her back and then just trying to go for a choke? Did she really come close to the choke? Like, no, not really. But because you had her in a dangerous position, you're going to win the round. Or you should more or less win the round. Now, I think if she can do that to Yan Xiaonan over the course 2, 3, 4 of those rounds, yeah, you're going to run away with the decision. But I can also see Yan Xiaonan just being the more effective striker. I think in one of her last fights, bro, I think it was the last one, I had Yan Xiaonan winning it. I thought it was such a close fight, and she didn't get it, even though I thought she was a little more effective. So whoever has the more awe-striking, awe-inspiring, I guess you could say, moments is going to be the winner of this fight. If Mackenzie Dern can't just get her to the ground and then, go to will with her jiu-jitsu. What are the odds here, though, AJ? Because I'm kind of curious that Mackenzie Dern has been doing great work at Ruka, and she's been working a lot on her striking, that maybe she doesn't even want to go the takedown route at all. Maybe she's like, I just want to test out my striking. Like, that's a terrible plan, in my opinion, but what are the odds that happens?
I'm guessing pretty high, to be honest with you, man. Mackenzie Dern has a tenacity to her of a very proud fighter, and I can easily see her thinking, a lot of people, and which admittedly so, a lot of people do write off her striking as basic. And if really she's been putting some solid work in there, striking is one of the ones where if you're, you do the dedication, you can grow very, very fast in it. Yeah. It would be interesting to see Mackenzie Dern do that, especially if she isn't able to get a takedown right away and then starts finding success in the hands. I see her doing. I see if this was an 8 out of out of 10, I'm thinking about 8 out of 10 would see where her striking. What do you think?
Yeah, no. I think that there's definitely going to be a mix-up. I don't think this is going to be as cut and dry as a lot of people think it's going to be. It'll be an interesting matchup, and Yan Xiaonan is going to be putting up a fantastic fight. She can win this fight. There's no sitting here saying, oh, no, she can't win. That's crazy talk. You know what I'm saying? Yan Xiaonan is so skilled. Let's just talk about this, though, man. In her last 5 fights, Mackenzie Dern has 2 submission wins, right? So she has gone to a decision 3 times out of the last 5 fights, and one of them was a loss to Marina Rodriguez. So the question becomes, how does she get it done, man? Let's talk about it. We got Dern, I got Dern, you got Dern, but how does she get it done, right? So let me just pull up a couple of things so walk me through it. I'm just going to pull up something so I can get the over and unders ready. So how do you think she gets it done, bro?
Man, this one to me, if Mackenzie Dern is going to do this by submission, it's what I'm thinking as well. I'm right there. I'm taking that minus 120, man. I know there's not a lot of value there, but if this is classic Mackenzie Dern, I'm saying round 3 submission, something a little late where she gets Yan Xiaonan not necessarily tired, but not bouncy anymore, not on the toes anymore, kind of expecting things, reading stuff, taking that extra second to really think about it. And then that's when Mackenzie Dern is able to get that takedown, really work the ground and pound, stay in control the whole time. I'm saying submission round 3. What about you, Derick?
Okay, so that's interesting. So we're going to go sub. We're going to go round 3. You know what, man? I like the submission. I don't like the prop, but I actually like her winning by submission. But the other thing that I have to take into consideration, once again, Xiaonan's never been finished by submission ever, right? But dive a little bit deeper. Who are the best jiu-jitsu fighters she's fought? Like a Claudia Gadelha. It's kind of it. You know what I mean? In the UFC, she has not been paired up with Mackenzie Dern, bro. I'm not trying to fanboy over here. I'm just saying her jiu-jitsu is that top notch. She can do some pretty disgusting things. So I think I'm going to rock with that submission as well. But I would not be surprised to see some variation of like a TKO from like mount or like a crucifix just like smash. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Now, you kind of stole my thunder because I was thinking round 3, round 4. I'll go... Damn, man, I hate to do that. I'm going to go round 3. I hate to do this, man, but I'm going to go round 3, too. That feels like it's the sweet spot. Now, when we're talking over and unders right here, believe it or not, AJ, over and under, 2.5 rounds. So, is it... round 3, 2.5, I guess... Are you doing what? Early round 3, late round 3? That's just how we have to decide here.
Yeah, I'm going over. I'm going late round 3.
Okay, well, I'll take the under. I'll switch it up on you right there, man. Minus 140 for the over, though. So I will put that there, man. I think we get an early finish, though, man. I don't think this is going to go all 5 rounds. Or at least I hope it doesn't, because it would be more exciting if it didn't, bro. All right, that is your main event right there. This is going to be a fun one, man. But I do think stylistically a little lopsided matchup-wise. All right, now let's talk about another one. Randy Brown, Francisco Trinaldo, man. This is a fun matchup, because Francisco Trinaldo is one of those game fighters who can withstand a lot of damage and is not going to get tired through the course of 3 rounds. But then Randy Brown, on the other hand, you got to take into consideration that Randy Brown can knock you out. He could submit you. He could hit you from across the cage. You won't be able to hit him back. But when you got Trinaldo, a little tank who is just walking you down the whole time in your face, that's going to mitigate some of that long-range striking. So what is the best outcome possible for Trinaldo to actually get a dub on the board? You can see his odds are terrible. His prop odds are terrible. What's the best scenario for him to get a dub on the board?
Man, nullify that power, nullify that range that Randy Brown has. Get in close, get the clinch, start working a ground and pound takedown, and try not to get submitted, because Randy Brown actually has some decent jiu-jitsu down there as well, man. And also crazy knees. So if you're Francisco Trinaldo, you also got to watch out for those powerful knees and elbows coming in. Randy Brown can cut you up, but if you're able to nullify that speed, that strength, that size differential, Francisco Trinaldo is an absolute bulldog in there, man. So he could get it done. This dude is like thick-headed in all the best ways, if you will. You know, a glutton for punishment. He can take a beating and still deliver one hell of an ass whooping as well.
And, I mean, think about it, man. His last 2 wins are over Danny Roberts and Dwight Grant. Those are not, like, just scrub wins. You know what I mean? And so, like we've been saying, you got to match him up with the young guns, and if he keeps winning, you can stay around. If you lose, you're not going to be able to stay around. Well, they gave him the young guns. They even gave him the Jai Herberts, right? They even gave him the Muslim Salikovs. Like, they've given him all these dudes. But now you get a little bit of a different test in Rude Boy, Randy Brown, man. Randy Brown is a problem. I think it's safe to say that. Last 3 wins. Cowboy Oliveira. That was a fantastic one-arm rear naked choke. Gotta love it. Jared Gooden, the Night Train. He's not in the UFC anymore. It was a good win, but, you know, it hasn't aged that well. And then Chaos Williams. So we know he could take a punch. We know he can stay out of danger from a big punch. I think Randy Brown overall is going to be too long. He's going to be too effective with a plethora of different strikes. And I mean, listen, man, at the end of the day, I just think that he's the younger, better fighter right now. Francisco Trinaldo, he's just, I mean, how old is my man? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me pull that up real fast. How old is my man Francisco Trinaldo? Because that's the question. He's a welterweight fighting at 44 years old. You got to take that into consideration, bro. You can't not take it in consideration. I like Randy Brown here. I think he gets it done. Trinaldo is going to make it scrappy. He's going to make it ugly. If there's one thing he can do that. But Randy Brown, he's just the better fighter, bro. So give it to me, Randy Brown style. But here's the question. How does it get it done? And AJ, I'm going to go first. I'm going to go decision here, bro. I don't think he's going to knock out Francisco Trinaldo. I think if Trinaldo has any type of chip on his shoulder, it's that I'm not going to let this fucking young gun, bro, just take me out of here. Unless he gets hit with some wicked shit that Randy Brown can deliver, I like decision here. So how do you got it, bro?
Yeah, man, you stole my thunder just like I did for yours in the first pick. That was the question I was going to ask you, Derick. Is Francisco Trinaldo the dog enough to stay in the fight regardless? I think so, man. This dude is very savage, very weathered and durable in there. But like you said, Randy Brown can put together some slick combos and hit you with a kick or a knee that you did not see coming and put your lights out. Just to be different, Derick, I'm going TKO. Okay. I do think better is if you're out there, man, go with the decision bet, because I do think that's probably the smarter one right here. But me personally, I'm going TKO, Randy Brown, and I'm going to go late, man. I'm going round 3.
Like late round 3?
Like late round 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over and under is 2.5, my man. They like the over, minus 150 for the over. So all right, we'll give you the over. I'm going the over on a decision, but if you hit on that TKO, man, plus 265, that's sure a lot better than minus 300. And then if you look at this, man, I just got to mention Trinaldo plus 800 for the TKO, plus 550 for a decision, plus 1500 for it. They're giving him no shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're giving him no shot here, and it's very clear and, you know, obvious. This is, to me, a tough bout, but a showcase bout for Randy Brown. You know, shout out to Rude Boy. All right, my man. This is the fun matchup. This is the one right here. Raoni Barcelos, Trevin Jones, man. And this could go down a plethora of different ways, but I have to mention this before I mention anything else. Both of these fighters, to a degree, I think, fight to the level of their competition. right? We know how good these dudes can be, but sometimes they get in there and they just don't show us what we're accustomed to seeing. And Trevin Jones, who came off that hot streak against Timur Valiev, it just kind of pitter-pattered off. Raoni Barcelos, same thing with these last 2 wins. Now, if there's one thing that people don't know about Raoni Barcelos that they need to take into account is that when he wants to, he can have some of the best wrestling in the division, right? I mean, it's bantamweight, so never mind. You got some good Dagestani dudes in there, but he's got really good wrestling. That's the point, right? Trevin Jones, he got some ground game. He's not really the wrestler that Barcelos is, but if anything, he'll stay complacent, stay out at range, and start trying to pick you apart with his hands. Barcelos is more explosive. He's more powerful, right? When he throws, everything. To me, do you agree with this comparison? Raoni Barcelos, to me, is a little Jose Aldo-esque. Would you agree?
Yes. Oh, 100%.
So when you have that style of a very tight-knit, every move, everything is hard, Trevin Jones might have a good time being able to use some feints and try to draw out some of those big motions to try to counter. I can see him having success there. Overall, though, there's a reason why, once again, I'm not going to say a prop odd or just a money line odd means everything or anything necessarily, but take a look, bro. Not really a shot for Trevin Jones here. 575 for the TKO, plus 450 for the decision, plus 180 for the money line. Barcelos, minus 220 money line, plus 125 decision. I think he can get a finish here, but I'm interested to know, why do you think the odds makers are leaning towards the decision here for Raoni Barcelos?
I think it goes back to what you're talking about, where both of these fighters really fight to the level of their competition. And I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I agree with you. I do think that's the case, but I'm 50-50 in the fact that might make this more of an interesting fight when both fighters have to carry, and not have to, but kind of mimic the other fighter and fight to the level that they can. I feel like they're both going to elevate each other and fight to see one of the best fights we've had of both of these scrappers that are into the cage, man. Raoni Barcelos, I agree with you, is very much that Jose Aldo-esque type strider where everything is twitchy and like fast and wiry, and he'll hit you hard, he'll hit you fast. Very nice striking, very good high fight IQ as well. And Trevin Jones, man, what I like about him, big power in the left hand. So he has that kind of more planted style instead of being bouncy around. Arguably better at the striking, depends on how you want to classify the jittery, fierce, fast striking of Raoni Barcelos, or the classic combo moves of Trevin Jones. Trevin Jones is a slickster, so he can get it done. But if you're betting over there and you're a Jones fan, I'd say that money line is looking a little sweet. But I can definitely see a finish coming from more likely Barcelos, but Trevin Jones is not to be squandered.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And I have to put a little more respect on these guys' names. Yeah, I say they fight down to the level of their competition, but, I mean, look at their competition, bro. Last 2 losses for Raoni Barcelos. Victor Henry, who splashed onto the scene and just showed that this dude is game. He's legit. He had a lot of experience outside of the UFC, and it paid dividends when he made it to the big show. And then Timur Valiev. I mean, come on. And then if you look at Trevin Jones, Javad Basharat, one of the Bash Bros that we've been hyping up, and look at what he did in his last fight. I mean, come on. And then Said Jokub Kakramanov, another one where it's just like, god damn, they have a 0 name value, but these dudes are as good as they come. So it's like, I don't want to disrespect it all by saying, oh, they're not good. No, these dudes are 2 fantastic fighters. That's why they're matched up right here. However, AJ, man, when it comes down to like what I want to see out of Raoni Barcelos, the explosiveness, I want to see aggressiveness moving forward, right? I don't think that he's going to get gassed out the same way that he had to kind of worry about against a Victor or Henry or any of these dudes or Timur Valiev, because there's not going to be a lot of takedown attempts, I don't think. I think if this is a strictly striking matchup, Barcelos will have that pop all 3 rounds. Trevin Jones, I think that was another thing that we noticed too. It was just a little bit of a cardio issue, you know what I'm saying? So, most likely to get a knockout here, Barcelos or Jones?
Barcelos.
Even though his last knockout came in 2019, you still think that's true?
Yeah, I wouldn't say Trevin Jones had a gas tank issue. I feel like sometimes he gets a little too patient and reads the situation a little too much, and it makes the output drop drastically, and that's really one of his big problems.
And that's why we all start wondering, like, is he tired? Like, what's up, bro? You got to go, right? And Barcelos, I mean, he had, I think, a career high number of strikes in his last fight, 134. Still got outstruck 181 to 134, but if you look at Trevin Jones, his highest striking output in the UFC, 62 strikes. That's not good. That's not good. I like Barcelos here, man. I think he gets it done. I think he's the more experienced fighter. I know for sure. He is the more experienced fighter. He's been doing it for longer. He's fought better opposition. And when you come off of 2 rough losses where you're like, I should have probably been on the board, it's only a matter of time until that karmic justice comes back around. Unless you're Angela Hill, and then it just almost never does, right? But either way, I just kind of had to throw that in there. All love to overkill Hill, you know. But I like Raoni Barcelos, man. I do have to take into consideration that Trevin Jones has been submitted, but he's never been knocked out in the UFC. Raoni Barcelos can do it. He can catch him. Fuck it. I'm going to go TKO. Let's go. TKO, Raoni Barcelos, man. I want to see it. I want to see the Raoni Barcelos that we know and love come back to that fruition and remind everybody, dude, y'all must have forgot. I could be a ranked fighter right now if I got a little more respect on my name and if I got that dub on the board. So give me that. And over and under right here, looking at 2.5 rounds. I'm going to go late round 2, so I'm going to take the under. So give me that one. How you see it, brother?
Yeah, no, I'm with you with the Barcelos pick, and I'm glad you went TKO because I'm actually going to take that plus 125 decision win. As much as I can see Barcelos getting the knockout, I think that both of these fighters are very intelligent, make a lot of reads, see things coming very, very fast, and they're going to be avoiding a lot. And I do think this is going to be a standing battle. So I don't know if we're going to necessarily see a knockout. Let's just see some flashy, crazy shit, which I'm all about it as well. But I think we're going to see a decision here. I'm going Barcelos, and I'm going decision.
Okay, fair. And I'm going to be real here, man. If this is like one of those striking matches that's like a chess match and it's a little boring, I'm going to be very disappointed. I'm sure everybody will be massively disappointed here. It's a fight, but at the end of the day, this is entertainment too, man. You got to show up and you got to deliver for the fans, right? So we both see it. Barcelos, I got the TKO. My man AJ has the decision. And moving on up. I don't got much to say about this, AJ, but I will say this. Sodiq Yusuff taking off a big risk right here, and Don Shainis has never been in a better position to literally change the trajectory of his life, especially his fighting career. Now, if there's one thing to make Don Shainis very dangerous is that he could take a punch, he can come back, and he can give a massive blow himself, bro. Like, this dude is explosive. And I think that's why he got the short notice call-up, man. Because Sodiq Yusuff is very explosive. But Sodiq Yusuff oftentimes can find himself in that same situation you were talking about for Trevin Jones. Just patient. Almost patient to a fault, right? And especially with a Don Shainis, you don't have that much time to really do, a whole camp on this guy, to study this guy. He's going to have to go back to his training. And what's the normal saying, right, AJ? When you go back to your training, it's like your lowest level of training is like what comes out, when you're tired or when any of these situations happen. Do you think the lowest level Sodiq Yusuff, who was arguably one of the best in the world, man, can steamroll a Don Shainis? Or do you think that this has the potential to be like a Raoni Barcelos, Victor Henry? Like, oh, where did this dude come from?
Oh, the one sleeper factor I give to Don Shainis is this dude is a great and very powerful wrestler. Yeah. So if Sodiq Yusuff comes in here and really isn't expecting that to come in at all, and he gets surprised in that first round, gets power doubled into the fence, and next thing you know, he's sitting there 5 minutes on his back staring up. That's when I'm thinking that could be the oh shit moment that everybody's thinking, and maybe like, oh damn, Shainis is real. The brass really, they thought highly of this kid, and he's the real deal. That's where all that comes in. Do I think Sodiq Yusuff is not expecting that to happen? I'm trying to think of a better word where he's not being arrogant and, just not doing the research. Do I think he's out there just like having fun? No, I think Sodiq Yusuff is taking this still very, very seriously, because one thing that you noted in the beginning, when he struggles with output because of the reading of the scenes and fighting and like the fight IQ. What I have labeled down is he has very smart pressure. So almost sometimes to a fault, where he can pressure, he can keep it up, and he can go, but he can also reserve a lot of the time and wait for you to come in and do that. And if Shainis comes in and puts some pressure to him, I think we're going to see a more calculated and patient Sodiq, so that way he's actually able to solidify the win going forward and not just get power doubled at the beginning of every single round and set himself up into that kind of a fight.
And if there's anybody who has experience with like dudes wanting to come in and wrestle him, it's Sodiq Yusuff, man. That's what Arnold Allen did to him when he beat him. So that was a tough loss for him. He had to bounce back from that. Andre Feely even took him down 3 times, and Sodiq still won the fight. So I don't think that just a pure wrestling attack is going to be enough to really overcome against Sodiq Yusuff. I do think, though, man, he's going to stay smart. He's going to need to stay smart, right? And he's going to need to put up just higher volume, right? Kind of like when he did against Mike Davis. So if you go back to his UFC debut, he fought Mike Davis, man. He put up a career high strikes in the UFC, 111, right? Significant strikes. And this was Dana White Contender Series, so I guess it wasn't even really like the UFC debut. But the point is, he has the capacity to do it. You just can't be frozen by, oh shit, this dude's about to take me down. But when you see a prop odd of minus 200 for Sodiq Yusuff for a TKO, you have to imagine, is there any wisdom in betting against anything other than that? Like when the odds makers literally say, we're going to give you less value than Mackenzie Dern getting a submission on Yan Xiaonan for a TKO in this shortcomers fight or newcomers fight, whatever you want to call it. I mean, come on. Do you just instinctively roll with the odds makers here?
Basically, I mean, especially if you're a bettor out there, you don't even know who Don Shainis is. You see a minus 200 T, and no disrespect to Shainis at all. Yeah. I mean, this dude's in the game. That's as much as you can ask for. But you see a minus 200 TKO. I think the smart man rolls with it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, with that being said, man, Sodiq Yusuff, we think he gets the job done. It's only a matter of how does he get the job done. And to be fair, man, if you're looking at a Don Shainis, even in his literally in his last fight, dude got stung early on before finishing his opponent. And that goes to show he could take a shot. But if you're getting stung like that at that level, if Sodiq Yusuff hits you with some good shit, some Nate Diaz, I'm going to hit him with some good shit, put some money in my pocket and dip out. You feel me? Like if he hits you with that, I think that we're not recovering from that one. I think it's going to be a short night. So I'll go Sodiq Yusuff. And I don't even want to be too harsh here, but I'm going to go first round TKO. How you see it?
I don't want to be too harsh either, Derick, but I'm right there with you. Sodiq Yusuff, TKO, round one. Hopefully it's not too early, but Don Shainis, all credit to him for answering the phone, man.
Listen, at the end of the day, a lot of times you just have to do this in order to get into the big show. You wanted to be here. This is not the ideal circumstance. You don't get a full training camp. But he did say, I'm going to make it ugly. And all right, man, I wish you nothing but the best right here. Minus 165 for the under. And the over and under is 1.5 rounds. So, I mean, the odds makers like Sodiq here. Come on. All right, man, moving on down. 2 more bouts on this main card docket, bro. John Castaneda versus Daniel Santos, man. And it sounds weird, man. This is probably the fight that I'm most forward to looking. I'm looking the most forward to watching. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm like. That's how I'm discombobulated because I want to talk about this fight so bad. John Castaneda, Daniel Santos. Santos likes to put pressure. He likes to walk forward and he likes to really just put it on you, man. He has a plethora of different attacks. He has good striking. John Castaneda, on the other hand, also likes to move forward, corral you up against the cage, right? Really take his time. And when he explodes, it might take him a little while. It might take him a round and a half, 2 rounds. But when he starts going, he's going to use the same strike over and over and over again. Same couple combos. But then in the beginning, they're going to be tapping the guard. It's not going to be effective. Come a round and a half, 2 rounds. Oh, that's connecting now. Oh, shit, that kind of stings a little bit. Oh, and then guess what? I'm going to take you down. I got superior wrestling and grappling than you. Now, is that the case against Daniel Santos? I don't know. We can maybe argue back and forth about that. But like I said, John Castaneda is very severely underrated in my opinion, and I think he can do some damage here. The only question that I have about it is how quickly can he do it? And we haven't seen him really in a little minute. So it's like, how are we feeling, right? Tell me about Daniel Santos, though. What can you tell me about Santos that is going to make this match incredibly intriguing versus a very game John Castaneda?
I think the biggest thing that kind of makes the draw for Daniel Santos is he has very unassuming power. You look at the guy, 140, or this is a catch weight, 140 pounds, usually fighting at 135, but they're very skinnier type of guys. We always talk about in the heavyweight, some dudes walking around with tree trunks. They got all the power in the world. Daniel Santos, very skinny legs, but this dude, you can see it in his back. He's been a born fighter, he has the natural power in him, and this dude sits down on a lot of punches and swings for the fences. So at that same point, this is what makes it an interesting fight for Castaneda. Like you said, Derick, very patient, but also very explosive. And if he can explode into one of those heavy punches that Santos throwing around, Santos catches him, we can see a knockout coming out of nowhere for Santos. The thing with Santos, though, he has very heavy feet because of that power. He's sitting down. Like I said, his feet stay a little sturdy. That gives Castaneda an even better time to see that, to plant his feet, actually drive through the hips, get a takedown, working for Castaneda that win as well. This is a very interesting fight to see how the X's and O's play out, man. If you're Santos, you got to be on the front foot because this, even though he's willing to engage in the grappling in the clinch battle, Santos wants to keep this one on the feet and stand and bang and get it where he feels most comfortable leading the dance. Do you think Castaneda takes the backward step, takes the passenger seat, and kind of deals with it that way? Or is he going to be looking to drive the entire fight?
I like Castaneda because he always is on the front foot, but I do think he might have learned a thing or two from Miles John in his last fight and saying, okay, because Castaneda got caught a bunch of times just coming in, and because Miles Johns was like, come on in and I'm going to explode and I'm going to hit you with some, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to make you back up. If he could do that to Santos, I think he could really, really give the man some problems, right? Because once you give him that first crack, you're not going to want to really be jumping up in front of him anymore. Now you're going to be taking a step back, and now he can implement his game plan. Is that what's going to happen? I don't know. I can't tell the future. But I think that in terms of like a John Castaneda style of fight, I mean, it's not the most uncommon thing that you're going to see here in the world. Now, if you had to make it definitively, though, man, yeah, Santos got the power. Castaneda's a little more technical, but he got power too. Who's the better striker overall?
Ooh, better striker. Man, I would say Castaneda just because he's a little bit more patient. Santos, though, like I said, the power, the what I like about Santos's power is he'll hit you with the fourth punch that you didn't see coming, and the combo's smooth. And that fourth one is the one that really knocks your block off. But I feel like Castaneda still has this explosive but smooth striking that I like seeing a lot more. What about you?
Yeah, no, I got to go Castaneda here overall. Santos, though, he's a very hyped up prospect, man. A lot of people like Willie Cat, bro. This dude has got a lot of hype behind him, and people know what he's capable of. He just has to show it in the big show. He just hasn't had enough time to do it, personally, I think. I think this dude is as game as ever. So I guess my final thing right here, what does it mean to you that on Tapology, man? Tapology doesn't really mean anything for the people voting. Anybody can vote, right? 90% of people think Castaneda is going to win, but 64% of those 90%, I know that we're doing weird math here, they all think it's going to happen via decision. So they're thinking that nobody really is going to get knocked out here. It's really going to go to that decision poll. I don't know how I feel about that necessarily, simply because if you look at the over and under, it's 2.5 rounds, right? The minus 145 is not for the over. It's for the under. Somebody is probably going to get hurt, get going to sleep. But then again, you could have said the same thing about the Miles Johns fight, right? Yeah, he got submitted late third round, but it's like, shouldn't it have been a little more action-packed in the beginning? Yeah, it just wasn't. So power guy versus power guy, we might see the stalemate. So how do you see it going down?
Man, when I was thinking of this fight, breaking this fight down earlier, man, looking at all the, the film and coverage of everybody, I can see why this is a plus 115 for the decision, at least for Castaneda. The smaller guys, no one's ever really thinking knockout. They both have good grappling. Both can submit people. There's a lot of technical stuff that can go in this fight, but I think the power is going to be another thing, man. I'm rocking with that plus 450 TKO route on Castaneda. Okay. I think we're going to see somebody snoring. We're going to see somebody put to sleep, especially if both fighters are able to tag each other up. I'm going early round three, Castaneda TKO.
Okay, so if it's early round 3, that's still going to be the under on there for the TKO, so we'll give that one to you, man. And it's like, I want to be aggressive too. I want to sit here and say, nah, someone's getting knocked out for sure, especially with 2 power fighters. But the more that I think about it, and the more that I know that John Castaneda could pick and choose his spots very much. We got a lot of these strikers here who they're very, very patient. They're very tactical in their approach. I'll rock with the decision, man, just to kind of switch it up right here. But I'm going to be very upset if it does come down to a TKO and we're like, man, that's exactly what we were talking about. We can see it happening. But the odds makers think it's going to happen, so we'll see what happens there. But we both like Castaneda here. Santos is good though, man. This is going to be a fun fight. Do not count this dude out. I mean, plus 170 when you only got 11 fights on your record. John Castaneda got 25, 23, something like that. I'm just saying, bro. All right, man. And to open up the card, right, Mike Davis, man, versus Slavoclaws. Probably one of the best nicknames in the game, in my opinion. I love the dude's nickname, but Viacheslav Borshchev, man, this is a dude who came in hot on the scene on Dana White Contender Series, made his mark in the UFC, and like I said, he just got tripped up in the last one, man. Mark Jacasey, a bona fide veteran, said, I'm not going to let you do what you do best. I'm going to wrestle you, and I'm just going to keep you there. You're not going to submit me. We're not going to go back and forth with striking. But if there's one dude who will go back and forth with the striking, it's Mike Davis. And that's why I just think that this is an interesting matchup, man, because Slavoclaws has fantastic kicks, great dexterity, great punch speed. I mean, Davis is faster, more explosive. But I think both of these guys go hand in hand. Borshchev isn't as fast and as explosive as Mike Davis, but I think he has other strengths. You know what I mean? Well-rounded MMA style. Mike Davis, he's very well-rounded as well, but I think this dude primarily, man, he wants to get up there and he wants to show you what these hands is about, and the legs and the knees and the feet and the elbows. So we were talking earlier, man, and we were just kind of saying, like, yeah, I could see how Mike Davis could win this, but Slavoclaus has a puncher's chance, maybe a little bit more, right? That's more or less what we were saying in the intro. What do these odds mean to you then? Minus 175 for Mike Davis, plus 150 for Viacheslav Borshchev. I mean, that's damn near, it's not pick 'em, but it's not like, oh, plus 200, you know what I mean? Or minus 200 plus, you know, whatever. The point that I'm making is close, numbers-wise. Why do you think that is?
I mean, because I think this is a tit for tat kind of fight. This is one of those fights where I can see, you remember that old school game where it was the Rock'em Sock'em Robots? Exactly, man. This one's going to be, I give you a punch, you give me a punch. I hit you with the leg kick, you hit me with the leg kick. We're going to be seeing a lot of tit for tat fighting here go on because both of these fighters are very technical and very well-rounded in multiple things, man. Sure, if you go down the list, Mike Davis, powerful, scrappy, good boxing, nice kicks. What do you got to say about Slavoclaus, man? This dude is also powerful, scrappy, good boxing, nice kicks. They're both down for a brawl. This is going to be a very fun fight, man. Great wrestling all around. What I do like that I think Slava has a little bit more towards an advantage of is this dude has really dexterous hips as well as good balance. He's in there. He's jumping on one leg, trying to defend takedowns and all this stuff. What I like about Mike Davis is he's flashy, but to a point. Not necessarily over flashy where, he can start throwing stuff that doesn't even matter. You're just getting tired. But he will be flashy enough to hit you with something that you didn't see coming and knock your socks right off. This is going to be a very fun fight, man.
Yeah, I think so too, man. I agree. Everything is like literally tit for tat. This is like 1A versus 1B, damn near 1A versus 1A. You know what I'm saying? The only difference here, man, is Mike Davis is more established. He has better experience in the big show, and Borshchev still has to prove himself. But this dude's a hot commodity for that reason, right? Because this dude has a lot of hype behind him, and people think he could be good. I think he could be very good as well. Now, there's one aspect here that I think Borshchev has a little bit of an advantage of, and I think if he kind of does something that he did to Mark Chikasi, which is I'm going to clinch you up against the cage, right, strategically, so that when I can get off the break, I can hit you with a 4, 5, 6 punch combo to where now you have no choice but to shoot at my legs. I think if he can make it ugly, like the uglier the fight is, the more in favor of Borshchev. The cleaner, more technical, the more in favor of Mike Davis. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree, especially with the power balance differential that Borshchev has. He has that danger on the inside of the guard, which I think will really come in handy for the fight.
Exactly, man. Now, if we're sitting here saying, is one of these dudes going to get knocked out? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if that's the case. I think that this is going to be a very technical chess match, 3-round barn burner, and I think that's why they slated it for the first fight of the main card, like we speak on multiple times. So I don't have too much more analysis of this other than chess match incoming, right? Two very balanced opponents who basically know each other's strengths and weaknesses are just going to go tit for tat and just see who gets the job done. So if I was a betting man, honestly, and I am a betting man, clearly, that's why we do the show, right? I would recommend you guys, and this is just me. AJ might have his own opinion. I say this is more or less of a stay away for me. You know what I mean? Just because anything can happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if either one won. I wouldn't be surprised if either one did something crazy. Like, there's no surprises here. Anything can go down. What is your opinion on this matchup?
I'd agree with you. If I'm willing to lay some money down on this one, which obviously we're on this show, but this one's a stay away. This one's a rough one because I can see this fight ending. So I literally, while you were talking, Derick, I was like, could this one end in a finish? I could see both of these fighters getting to a clinch and crazy punch combo comes out and they finish the other fighter against the cage. I can also see him doing it with some crazy spinning knockout heel kick, something like that. There's multiple ways in which this one can win, which in my mind, stay away because this one's going to be very hard to pin down which one's going to win. And as much as I agree with you, Derick, I think that decision is probably the way I'm going to rock. Yeah. Fuck it, man. I'm actually going to go TKO, Mike Davis. I'm going to go round 2 or late round 2. Let's go late round 2.
Okay, well, 2.5 rounds, minus 120 for the over, minus 110 for the under. So the odds makers don't even know. The odds makers don't even know, bro. It's like a slight lean for the over, but honestly, that doesn't mean anything. So just so we have it, folks, just to be clear, I have it as 1, 2. I have 3 finishes out of 6 fights, 50% finishes. My man AJ, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 out of 6, my man. You're going finish heavy on this one. It'll be fun to see. It'll definitely be fun to see. But that is your main card right here, and I will just say, man, This is going to be a fun fight. I could see either one of these dudes finishing the fight kind of like Leon Edwards, Kamaru Usman, where it's just like, bam, one hitter quitter, walk off. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, dude, we don't got any time to spare here. Let's jump into a couple of these prelim fights, man, and talk about it, bro, because that main card, I'm just hyped up. I can't wait for the fights. I feel like I haven't watched a fight in a year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those feelings. But, all right, my man, let's get into it. So, we got to talk about a couple of these because a couple of these are some banger alerts, man. And I'm saying that all capitals. If we was texting right now, yeah, banger alert, 5 capitals and exclamation points and all that. All right, man. Jessica Penne versus Baby Shark Tabitha Ricci. Now, this is a sleeper in my opinion. Obviously, we already gave you your sleepers, but this is a sleeper in my opinion because Jessica Penne, great grappler, right? OG, veteran, striking, a little bit to be desired. Hasn't had the success that she wants recently. And then Baby Shark just doesn't care. She just walks forward and just takes you down and just demolishes, right? So it's tough because both of these fighters are really good grapplers. Baby Shark, though, she's a power wrestler. Maybe Jessica Penne can exploit some striking on the feet, but he's got that takedown threat. So, I mean, how do you see this fight playing out and who are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning towards the Baby Shark all day long, man. Tabitha Ricci came on the scene, and I'm pretty sure she lost her intro fight, but she gained a lot of fans out there. And I think it was against Macy Sasson, if I'm not mistaken.
You're close. It was against Manon Fiorot, and this was a fight where she fought up a weight class, short notice, and basically got destroyed by Fiorot.
Got destroyed, but earned quite the fan base. And Baby Shark is nothing but relentless. This is going to be a very interesting one going forward, man. And this is just the start of how many bangers are on this prelim. And obviously, this is the main prelim. The featured prelim? But there's a lot of them on here, Derek.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I actually don't think it's the featured prelim. I think it's the fight before the featured prelim. It's Ilir Latifi versus Alexia Oleinik. That's your featured prelim right there. And that's another banger right there. I mean, come on. You got the boa constrictor. This dude got like 80 fights on his record. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Ilir Latifi, who is just a dude who's been around forever, bona fide heavyweight, smash style. Real quick, who you like there?
Man, that's an interesting one because does Ilir Latifi have the power to put away a stubborn Alexei Oleinik who will literally throw his head at your hands because he's like doesn't want to put his own hands up? And I'm pretty sure, you correct me if I'm wrong, but Ilir Latifi has been stabbed in the chest a couple times too. I think that's him that has the couple of different.
That's Blagoy Ivanov. You're close.
Oh, that's Blagoy. Okay. I was going to say, either way, Ilir Latifi is also a gangster in his own right. Yeah. I'm going Oleinik. Oh, fuck, that's a hard one. I'm going Oleinik off the first, but this is a stay away as well for me. What about you?
Oh, this is not a stay away from me. I like Latifi via knockout. I like him here. Look at his last 3 losses, man. It's against the best of the best. Corey Anderson, Volkan Ozdemir, Derek Lewis. Then you beat a Tanner Boser in your first fight back in like a year, and now you're fighting an Alexei Oleinik who, if he doesn't submit you, at this point of his career, if he doesn't submit you in the first like 2 minutes, he's probably getting knocked out. Like, let's be fair. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to love Alexei Oleinik, but literally, I'll just go over the numbers, man. He beat Jared Vandera where he almost got submitted by Vandera, happened to get reversed. He lost a decision to Sergey Spivak, who, was a kind of lay-in prey. Knocked out first round by Chris Dawkins, knocked out second round by Derek Lewis. Like, you just got to stay away from the submission just for a little bit, and then you get knocked out. So I like Ilir Latifi here. I think he gets it done. This dude's nickname is the Sledgehammer for a reason. Like, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Should be a fun one, though. All right, bro. Brendan Allen, Christoph Jocko. We know Jocko is a master when it comes down to decisions, but Brendan Allen can mix it up. However, another dude who we know how good he is, it just doesn't always show up come fight night, man. Who do you like here?
Man, this one's a hard one as well, bro. I like both of these fighters. Originally, I'm thinking Brendan Allen, but I kind of think Jocko's going to get this one done. I'm rolling with Jocko on this one. What about you?
It pains me to say because I'm a big fan of Brendan Allen. I think he probably will have the size advantage here too. I think that he has the tools to win, but I like Jocko via decision, man. It's like all things, right? Jocko decision is the same as Caitlin Chikagian decision, damn near. You know what I mean? If it's going decision, she's probably going to win it, So I'll take Jocko here, but I would love to see Brendan Allen get a big dub here. Dude, Maxime Grishin, Felipe Lins. I mean, just another one. Like this could be a main card bout right here. Like, these are 2 light heavyweights. They're going to be swinging, banging. Maxime Grishin, you got to remember, he's pissed. And the reason why he's pissed is because, look at his last fight, or the fight before his last fight. Dustin Jacoby, he lost a very close fight. Dude was angry. He was upset. He fought William Knight. He fended off a very tough William Knight, got the job done. But he needs something definitive now. And when you're fighting a dude like Felipe Lins, who is a swinging and banging type of light heavyweight, man, somebody's going to get slumped here. Who gets slumped?
Ooh, Derick, this was almost my sleeper because this one, like you said, is a slump fest. I think Maxime Grisham is going to get the better of this one just because he's a little angry, but that could prove wrong. We could see Felipe Lin screaming at the top of the cage. What do you think?
I mean, we definitely could. We definitely could. I will just say I think I'm going to like the A side here. Maxime Grisham is a dangerous, dangerous man, dude. A lot of experience. Dude's got like 40-plus fights on his record, man. High levels. I think he was an M1 global fighter champion. These Russian dudes are no joke, man. Felipe Lins is good, but Maxime Grisham is different. And this dude trains with Strickland like day in and day out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he knows how to go to war. I like that one. All right, man. And then the last one, Yulia Stoliarenko versus Chelsea Chandler. One of those weird ones where I was like, why is this happening? You have to remember, Stoliarenko and Baby Shark, they train together, okay? So you know that Stoliarenko, remember, was it the last fight where she, like, held on to a late tap or maybe, yeah, was it? Yeah, it was Stoliarenko, huh? You got to just think about this. And I'm gonna look up the name so I have it clear. Okay. Oh, yes, Jessica Rose Clark, right? Jessica Rose Clark is the catalyst, right? I think it was one of these fights before where Stoliarenko had gone the armbar. Maybe the person didn't want to tap or it was something like that. Now, at this point on, she's like, I am going to be holding down on your arm until the referee pulls me off, right? I'm not going to take any chances. I'm breaking all. It's you tap, you nap, or it snaps. You have no other options here. Yulia Stoliarenko, an armbar, that's bread and butter. Now, AJ, I'm not going to lie to you. I've done a lot of film study for this card. I do not know Chelsea Chandler. For a second, I was like, does Mike Chandler? Is his wife over here fighting? But it's not. It's not. Listen, she got a couple decisions. She got a rear naked choke. She got a punches TKO win. I just don't know enough about her, and I'm curious on why they just said, you know what, you're good enough, 4 fights in, come fight Stoliarenko. What do you think?
Yeah, I was trying to look up right now if this was a
short notice.
This was a short notice replacement because Chelsea Chandler, was supposed to fight Leah Letson, which makes a little bit more sense to me. And it was probably just because Baby Shark and Stoliarenko trained that Stoliarenko said, "Fuck it, I'm down to scrap." Take a payday against a girl named Chelsea Chandler. Why not? I think that's probably why, because it seems like Letson withdrew from the Chandler fight. Yeah. But I mean, I'm balls on Chelsea Chandler, because that's not an easy fight, especially for somebody who's going to be taking your arm off.
That's somebody saying that I don't give a shit. I'm here. I'm game. I'm ready. Let's fight. So those are, I mean, we basically done covered every single fight on the card, man. Y'all got a lot to tune into. I mean, we got a lot to tune into, man. Saturday, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a hell of a fight night. And I cannot believe it, but we're back, baby, man. I'm sorry. We're back, man. We're back in the HQ. We back. We ready to go. So with that being said, folks, that is your show. That is your program here today. Bloody Water Podcast. Once again, drop a like, subscribe, share the show with your friends, and just throw us a couple comments, man. You know what I mean? It's been tough, tumultuous these last couple of weeks, but we back. You dig? AJ, the number one question. I know we're gonna have some stuff up in the works. Maybe not this week. When are we hopping on some live streams? When we hopping back on Twitch?
Ooh, you're right, Derick. I'm going to get back on that, folks. Just a little preview into the side over here. I am going to be moving, going to be shaking some things up, so I got to get all my stuff moved over to the new apartment, but we should be up and running hopefully this next week. Taking a little, what's the word I want to use? Not hiatus from the personal training, but dropping some clients down. Going to be focused on more online training, so that way I can be with you. Find folks over on Twitch, streaming, breaking fights down, getting the thing going, trying to get back, like Derick said at the beginning, full steam ahead, back to what we used to do, back to the grind as it was, man, so we can keep this show going, keep it working, and bring your favorite fighter's favorite fight show to you fine folks and win y'all some money.
Listen, that's what's number one important, man. It doesn't matter the value, doesn't matter how much you like it, are you getting return? And if there's one thing that's bona fide for sure, man, we plus on our picks, man. We got some good ass picks. You up on return. All right, folks, that is it for us, and we will catch you on the flip side. We'll catch you on Monday for the post show, but until then, that's it for us. Peace.